An all-new episode of Nikita, Friday at 8, 7 Central.
Now on the news at 10, the latest on the manhunt for triple murder suspect Christopher Dorner, where police think he may be hiding tonight.
Plus, we're going to go inside the mind of a killer. An FBI profiler talks to us about Dorner's chilling manifesto and what may have made him snap.
And remembering the innocent victims of Dorner's alleged revenge rampage, the latest on a fallen officer and another wounded in this morning's ambush attack, now on the news at 10.
Former LAPD officer Christopher Jordan Dorner is armed and dangerous, known to carry multiple weapons, including rifles. All officers use caution.
The manhunt continues tonight as a suspected cop-turned-killer has the LAPD under siege. It's one of the most remarkable manhunts in Southern California history. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. Here is what we know tonight. The statewide manhunt for Christopher Dorner has shifted to the mountain community of Big Bear, where roadblocks are up and a snowstorm is moving in. Earlier today, officers located Dorner's burned pickup truck and footprints in the snow, but so far they haven't picked up his trail again.
We have the story covered from every angle again tonight. Glenn Walker live outside LAPD headquarters. Rick Chambers live in Riverside, where 2 officers have been shot, allegedly by Dorner. But we begin with Sarah Welch live in Big Bear with the intense manhunt to find Christopher Dorner. Sarah?
Micah, we're going on 12 hours now, and unless the weather gets to a point it hampers things, the search will continue throughout the evening, both in the air and on the ground. We were briefed just about an hour ago. The Sheriff's Department spokesperson says more than 50% of the homes in this Big Bear area have been searched. That's about 200 of 400 homes in this area. Many of those homes are vacation homes. They are vacant. So far, no signs of Christopher Dorner since a police and canine unit began tracking footprints near the man's torch pickup this afternoon. The massive manhunt for Christopher Dorner now focused on Bear Mountain. This is Dorner's burnout pickup being towed away from a forestry road not far from the ski resort. The vehicle he used, police say, to get away from the shooting scene this morning in Riverside.
We sent a VIN expert from the Auto Theft Task Force up to look at the vehicle and confirm, in fact, that was the one by the VIN number.
A helicopter airlifted and dropped a SWAT team into the mountainside, now combing the terrain for the ex-LAPD cop and murder suspect wanted for the killing of 3 people, including a police officer. Dozens of armed officers from several agencies are also going door to door, checking some 400 homes. Many are empty vacation properties, while people living in this mountain community keep their guard up.
Tonight I'll lock my doors.
Yeah.
Normally I don't do.
We'll have officers around the clock, at least 15 to 20 additional officers driving around just to make sure this community is safe until we can bring this to a conclusion.
Police swarmed Bear Mountain this morning after reports surfaced Dorner, armed and dangerous, may be roaming the community. The mountain was hosting Armed Forces Day, and since Dorner was reportedly dressed in military gear, the mountain closed early as a precaution. Tonight, the sheriff reminded people in this mountain community to remain vigilant.
We ask that if anybody sees anything unusual that they let us know. We'll keep working on it until we're able to either locate the suspect or determine that he's no longer in the Big Bear Valley.
And many of these search teams have been out now for several hours. They are being relieved with fresh crews. We're told they're also using night vision equipment to search the rugged terrain. There will be another media briefing tomorrow at 9 a.m. of course, unless anything breaks. We're also told that the mountain will reopen tomorrow, as well as the area schools. Again, it'll be a cold and snowy evening tonight here. We'll bring you the latest developments as we get it. For now, Micah, back to you.
Okay, Sarah Welch live in Big Bear. Thank you.
And residents on edge coming up at 10:30. We will continue our live coverage in Big Bear, including how the search for Dorner has the mountain community on high alert.
2 Riverside police officers were ambushed and shot today, allegedly by Christopher Dorner. One of those officers died, the other seriously wounded. Rick Chambers on that part of the story for us tonight, live in Riverside. Rick?
Yeah, Micah, this is the first Riverside officer to die in the line of duty in over 2 years. So you can imagine the community here is taking it hard. They came together tonight to mourn.
Thank God for our officers, those that have served us in the past, those that have served us today and those that will serve us in the future.
Hundreds gathered tonight for a prayer vigil here at Riverside City Hall, remembering a local cop killed this morning, allegedly by fugitive Christopher Dorner.
When a life is lost, as senselessly as this one was, we just like to come together to show our support.
It's hard to be able to say, I miss you, when you never got to say goodbye. They're here to protect and serve. Who protects them?
2 Riverside officers were ambushed about 1:30 this morning as they sat at a stoplight. An 11-year vet of the department was killed, a 27-year-old Riverside rookie wounded. And the chief says 2 heroic citizens may have saved that young officer's life.
The officers were not in any condition to call for help on the radio, and because of one citizen's assistance, we were able to do that. We get help right away, yeah. And another citizen followed the suspect for a while.
Just minutes before that deadly encounter, this man came face to face with Dorner at a Corona gas station and relayed that information to a passing LAPD unit.
I said, there he is right there getting on the freeway. And that's when the 2 officers jumped in their car and pursued him to the Magnolia exit where the first shooting took place.
Dorner reportedly fired on those LA officers, grazing one of them in the head before fleeing up into the mountains. Throughout the day, as flags flew at half-staff here in Riverside, heavily armed police stood guard outside government buildings. And tonight, for the new mayor, heartbreaking circumstances to start only his 3rd month in office.
This senseless act and this violent act and this surprise attack on our officers, that's part of the tragedy of this, is that they weren't even able to defend themselves.
And back here live, the last time this city lost one of its officers was November of 2010. That's when Ryan Bonaminio was shot by the driver of a stolen truck. In Riverside, I'm Rick Chambers. Guys, I'll throw it back to you.
All right, Rick, thank you. And the Los Angeles Police Department remains on high alert tonight as the manhunt continues for Christopher Dorner. Glenn Walker now joins us live from LAPD headquarters with more on how Chief Charlie Beck is responding to this dangerous situation. Glenn.
As we have learned, Christopher Dorner is a heavily armed sniper who it looks as if he has carried out a well-planned attack, which he did outline in that so-called manifesto, essentially declaring a one-man war on the LAPD. Now, as he continues to elude capture tonight, the LAPD is circling the wagons.
Dorner is to be considered armed and extremely dangerous.
So dangerous that a blue alert has been issued here in Southern California. Beefed up security, clearly visible here at LAPD headquarters and the police academy in Elysian Park. But the real concern, protecting the families of LAPD officers.
Based on Dorner's threat, the LAPD initiated more than 40 protection details throughout the region.
In his online manifesto, Christopher Dorner wrote, "I never had the opportunity to have a family. I'm terminating yours."
The Los Angeles Police Department and our allied law enforcement agencies are implementing all measures possible to ensure the safety of our LAPD personnel, their families, and the Los Angeles community.
Irvine police say 4 nights ago, Dorner made good on his threat. Monica Kwan and Keith Lawrence, engaged to be married, were shot and killed. Kwan's father is retired LAPD Captain Randy Kwan, who represented Dorner as an advocate in the Board of Rights hearing that led to Dorner's termination by the LAPD. In his manifesto, Dorner also wrote, "The violence of action will be high. I will bring unconventional and asymmetrical warfare to those in LAPD uniform, whether on or off duty." The words of a sniper well trained by the military and the LAPD.
Of course he knows what he's doing, and we trained him. It is extremely worrisome and scary, especially to the police officers involved. This is a vendetta against all of Southern California law enforcement, and it should be seen as such.
And of course, we saw evidence of that vendetta early this morning with the ambush of those 2 Riverside police officers, one of them fatally shot. Now, I talked to several law enforcement policemen tonight, and they tell me that there is concern and in some cases fear that Dorner drove up to Big Bear and torched his truck as a diversion, and that he is back down here in the greater Los Angeles area, and he intends to kill again tonight. That is the latest from LAPD headquarters in downtown Los Angeles. I'm Glenn Walker for the KTLA 5 News. Chair Micah, back to you.
Glenn, thank you. That massive manhunt for Dorner led to 2 mistaken identity officer-involved shootings. Both happened in Torrance within minutes and just blocks apart. Chip Yost live in Torrance with that part of the story tonight. Chip?
Micah, we've learned that the 2 women in that first truck that was shot up this morning are mother and daughter. And what they didn't know as they were driving down this street this morning is that the street was filled with LAPD officers on the lookout for a bad guy in a truck that looked similar to the one they were driving. When this blue truck, doing nothing more harmful than delivering the morning newspaper, came rolling down Red Beam Avenue in Torrance Thursday morning, the 2 women inside had no idea what they were driving into.
Too many gunshots to count, probably 30, 40 more gunshots. I can't imagine anybody lived through that many shots. It was horrifying to hear that. And I told my wife, in fact, I said, somebody just got killed.
71-year-old Emma Hernandez was shot in the back, and her daughter, Margie Carranza, was injured by the shattered glass, but both survived, and they've already hired an attorney.
There was no warning, there was no orders or no commands, just gunshots.
Tragically, we believe that this was a case of mistaken identity by the officers.
The case of mistaken identity happened when LAPD officers who were protecting the home of someone they believed may be a target of Christopher Dorner mistook the newspaper delivery truck for the truck police believed Dorner may be driving. It was a mistake that would be repeated moments later by Torrance police.
Officers responding to the location observed a black vehicle matching the description of Christopher Dorner.
When calls about those shots fired on Red Beam went out on the police radio, a Torrance patrol car responded, and while pulling into the same neighborhood, saw this pickup truck driving away. Again, officers thought it was Dorner, and again, it was not.
A collision occurred. Shortly thereafter, shots were fired. The officers that were involved are okay. No injuries. The person that was driving the suspect vehicle was not hit. He was not injured. And I'd like to personally thank him for his cooperation in this investigation.
Now, back here at the first scene, the investigation continues into this officer-involved shooting. The LAPD is investigating this one while the Torrance Police Department investigates the one involving their officers. Meanwhile, that elderly woman, the 71-year-old woman who was shot in the back, she's still in the hospital, we're told, in stable condition. Meanwhile, her daughter has been released. Reporting live in Torrance, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
We're glad they're okay. Okay, Chip, thank you. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, suspect Christopher Dorner is believed to be in Big Bear.
That's where a storm is bearing down tonight, and it's expected to bring snow to the area. Vera's tracking the current weather conditions in Big Bear tonight. Vera?
All right, Michael, let's go ahead and take a look at the live Doppler. As you can see, we've got the rain falling in the Bakersfield area. That's going to continue to move south. As we take a closer look at the Doppler over the San Bernardino Mountains, we're already starting to see some light showers fall over the tallest peaks of Wrightwood. At the surface, though, a little bit closer to the ground, the air is still pretty dry, so most of this isn't making it to the ground. But during the overnight hours, that system is going to continue to roll in, and we're not just going to see rain, but we're also going to see very cold temperatures. Tonight at around midnight, we're looking at 19 degrees. By 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, 17. And by the afternoon, we're looking at 25 degrees. We're going to see snow showers, thunder snow. The wind chill factor is going to be about 0, and the roadways are going to be icy. More on these conditions in just a few minutes. For now, I'm going to send it back to you.
Vera, thanks. When we come back, the manhunt for an accused murderer, the intense search from San Diego to Big Bear to Las Vegas to try to find Chris Dorner.
Then going inside the mind of a suspected killer. We talked to a former FBI profiler about what Dorner's manifesto may reveal about his targets.
Plus a special delivery for Anderson Cooper from the alleged cop killer. New pictures of what was inside that package.
And be sure to stay with KTLA and KTLA.com for all the latest developments on the search for Christopher Dorner. We'll be right back.
In Point Loma.
That appears to have set Christopher.
I'm coming. Okay. I don't have my mic on. No, thank you. You're the best. Keep Haven. Yes, I know. I'm gonna.
This money mark.
Oh my God, I just ate like Rita's mints, and my mouth is. Yeah. Let me just put it on. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Share mic of the manifesto is essentially declaration. The LAPD, Dorner uses Navy acronyms, which indicates. You don't like that? Should I take it out?
Awesome. You think it's crazy? This guy's nuts.
15.
New video of Christopher Dorner's LAPD badge and ID card found near the San Diego airport early this morning. And we're learning more tonight about Dorner's movements in San Diego and the effect this manhunt is having on the entire state. Right now, Juliet Vara joining us live from San Diego with the latest on this piece of the puzzle. Juliet.
Well, good evening, Cher. We are live outside the naval base here in Point Loma. And earlier today, this area was saturated with armed officers because police say Dorner was here this week. He even checked into a hotel here. It's an all-out manhunt for Christopher Dorner, from fear.
Oh, that's so scary. My goodness.
To possible sightings of the alleged killer.
6 foot tall at least. I would have said over 250.
Not only are officers on alert, so are all San Diegans.
We are advising all agencies to be on the lookout.
Today, Naval Base Point Loma was locked down for 3 hours. This after someone reported possibly seeing Dorner. Joe Kent believes he spotted the suspect last night.
Just the way he carried himself. Definitely was not looking left and right at all, just 100% focused.
It's unclear when Dorner arrived in San Diego County, but on Monday at 9:30 in the morning, investigators in National City found police equipment belonging to Dorner thrown inside a dumpster near the police department.
At that point, we retrieved the property. We impounded it.
On Tuesday, police say the former naval reservist used his badge to gain access to the base here in Point Loma, where he checked into the Navy Gateway Inns and Suites. Investigators aren't sure when Dorner left the hotel because he did not formally check out.
He was in the area. That's why we are so concerned that he may return to the area.
Late Wednesday night, a man armed with a handgun fitting Dorner's description held up an 81-year-old boat owner here at Southwestern Yacht Club. Investigators believe it could have been Dorner trying to steal the boat. The attempted theft failed when the boat's motor got caught on a rope. The victim was not injured.
We're really fortunate and pleased that the victim who was involved is safe, and he's not injured. He's in actually pretty good spirits.
So far, the only positive outcome to this tragic rampage. And of course, the big question tonight is, why did Dorner choose this location? Why Point Loma, and why did he dump his equipment in National City, which is about 20 minutes south of this location? Those, of course, are questions tonight that investigators are flushing through and trying to answer themselves. But of course, the one thing that is for certain is all officials here in San Diego County are on alert. So are officials on the border. That's the latest tonight from Point Loma. I'm Juliet Vara, and I'll send it back to you.
All right, Juliet Vara in San Diego for us tonight. Thank you. And SWAT teams swarmed a home owned by Christopher Dorner in Las Vegas this afternoon. Local and federal law enforcement, including the FBI, converged on the home, but found no one there. Officers would not say what they recovered from the property, which Dorner reportedly bought in 2007. Police say they have no information that Dorner was heading for Nevada, but are watching the home, and Nevada highway troopers are also on alert and watching for Dorner on roads leading to Las Vegas.
Christopher Dorner's training with the LAPD and the U.S. Navy, combined with his 6,000-word manifesto, shed light on his motivation.
And it provides chilling hints of how far he might go in a rampage of murder and revenge. KTLA's Carolyn Costello joins us now with a closer look inside the mind of a suspected killer. Carolyn?
Well, Cher, Micah, we all have been saying the manifesto is essentially a declaration of war on the LAPD. Dorner uses Navy acronyms in it, which indicates he, in his mind, is carrying out a military operation. Tonight, we spoke with a former FBI special agent who believes Dorner sees himself as a martyr, fighting for a cause he believes is righteous and worth dying for. And unfortunately, he is equipped with enough skills to take this pretty far.
Christopher Dorner's 6,000-word manifesto leaves Steve Moore with little doubt.
The babblings of a paranoid psychotic.
But Moore, a former FBI agent and threat assessment expert, is just as sure of Dorner's skill as a killer, his methodical planning, and his determination for revenge.
I suspect that you're going to find that he did surveillance for weeks, if not months, preparing for this.
How well planned out do you think this is?
I think this is horrendously well planned out.
The 33-year-old's experience in law enforcement and in the U.S. Navy has left Christopher Dorner with a range of skills he promises to use. In his manifesto, Dorner says he will use, quote, every bit of small arms training, demolition, ordnance, and survival training I've been given.
He knows how the police look for people. And so he has, over the course of the last few weeks, I will wager, removed any of the tracking mechanisms that law enforcement would usually use.
Dorner, who fellow naval officers say is trained in the element of surprise, has declared asymmetrical warfare on the LAPD, promising to fight like a jihadist, saying, quote, they embrace death as it is a way of life. I simply don't fear it.
They make an attack, they retreat. They make an attack, they retreat. They do not stick around. It's a hit and run tactic. They can kill us one at a time. They can cause us severe pain that's not tactically or strategically valuable except to break our will.
Moore believes Dorner fancies himself a hero, a savior, and a martyr.
He's designed this all the way down to the final scene, and he's going to need to be killed by policemen.
In his manifesto, Dorner writes about the movie Django.
Do you think he's fancying himself?
Oh, yeah. He's fancying himself as William Wallace from Braveheart. He's fancying himself as Django. He is the righter of wrong. He talks here repeatedly about how he's going to change LAPD for the good forever, and future generations are going to be grateful. I hope he's killed himself. I don't think so. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think he's going to step away from his chance at immortality.
Investigators have discovered Dorner's torch truck in the mountains of Big Bear. To Steve Moore, that does not imply the end of Dorner's rampage is nearing, but indicates intricate planning and foreshadows more violence to come.
He truly is going for the long haul. He is trying to see how high a body count he can go.
So where does Moore think Dorner is now?
I think he's stalking his next target.
And perhaps more evidence Dorner sees himself as leaving behind a noble or honorable legacy. In the manifesto, he addresses elected officials, the Vice President, George H.W. Bush, General Petraeus. He has a message for Wayne LaPierre with the NRA. He gives advice to actors and movie directors. He tells Charlie Sheen he is awesome. So he believes, apparently, he's leaving behind some legacy. He's going down in history as some kind of a hero.
It is chilling.
A story with so many layers and such good reason for concern.
Yeah,
tonight.
terrifying, fascinating.
Yeah, you bet. Carolyn, thanks. And we've learned that Dorner was briefly married to another law enforcement officer. Dorner married his wife in Las Vegas in April of 2007, but the union lasted only a few weeks. They filed for divorce in May of 2007. Dorner's ex-wife is a resident of Long Beach, and neighbors say Dorner often visited her home, but has not been seen in the area for a few months.
And a revelation by CNN's Anderson Cooper today that Christopher Dorner mailed a package to his office, and now we're getting a look at the contents inside. Dorner put a hand-labeled DVD with a yellow Post-it note that reads, "I never lied," referring to his firing from the LAPD. He also inscribed a message on a coin riddled with bullet holes wrapped in duct tape. It says, "Thanks, but no thanks, Will Bratton," a message to the former LAPD police chief.
All signs point to Christopher Dorner's vendetta against the police, stemming from his 2008 dismissal from the LAPD. And tonight we're learning more about the circumstances surrounding his firing. KTLA's Stephen Chase working that angle live from San Pedro tonight. Stephen.
Micah, as this manhunt for a cop killer continues, it's what happened inside of this hotel's lobby back on July 28th of 2007 that appears to have set Christopher Dorner off.
How's it going?
Christopher Gettler is the man police say caused a disturbance inside this hotel in 2007. We tried to interview him, but he was incoherent. His family says he's mentally ill. At the hotel that day, LAPD officers wrestled and tasered him to get him under control. Christopher Dorner was one of the responding officers. But according to court documents, 2 weeks later, Dorner reported to an LAPD sergeant that after the man gave up, an LAPD officer kicked the man in his face and shoulders anyway. We spoke with the mentally ill man's father on the phone. He says Dorner was telling the truth. He even testified at Dorner's hearing to help him get his job back. Dorner was fired by the department in 2008 for making false statements and lost his appeal in 2011. He was represented by former LAPD captain turned lawyer Randall Quan. Quan's daughter and her fiancé were shot and killed over the weekend. Dorner is the prime suspect.
Dorner is to be considered armed and extremely dangerous.
On the phone, Richard Gettler says he thinks Dorner was brave for speaking out against his training officer after his son's run-in with the law. But now he's urging Dorner to turn himself in. 3 murders and now a massive manhunt. In his manifesto, Christopher Jordan Dorner says his wish is to clear his name. In a news conference this afternoon, Chief Charlie Beck addressed whether or not that would happen.
It is not going to happen. And thank you very much.
Online court documents show that the LAPD questioned the timing of Dorner's reporting. Before telling his superior his side of what happened, Dorner received an evaluation from his field trainer. He was told his performance would have to improve in order for him to move up in the department. Reporting live from San Pedro, Stephen Chase, KTLA 5 News.
Stephen, thank you. Straight ahead here on the News at 10, an update on the story we're all talking about, the intense manhunt for a suspected cop killer.
We are live from Big Bear with the very latest developments.
This Money Market Update brought to you by Greenlight Financial Services.
Copy that.
nightfall and frigid temperatures, a massive search is underway for the rogue ex-LAPD cop suspected of shooting to death at least 3 people, including a police officer. Earlier today, law enforcement discovered his torch pickup truck in the forest, but still no suspect. Big Bear residents and visitors are on edge tonight as the manhunt for Christopher Dorner continues.
KTLA's Liberty Chan joins us live tonight from Big Bear. Liberty?
Micah, authorities have asked residents to stay home tonight with their doors locked, and they say don't open up those doors for anyone unless it's a law enforcement officer. As authorities go door to door, knocking on at least 400 homes in the immediate area surrounding Bear Mountain, residents are on edge.
A little scary, I guess, to see this many policemen, FBI, cops, sheriffs, U.S. Forestry Department.
20 to 30 extra patrol cars are out on the streets tonight in Big Bear, protecting the people who live here from this man, the ex-cop and suspected murderer, Christopher Dorner.
That's very scary. He's very dangerous, very dangerous.
Dorner's burnt-out truck was towed down to the base of the ski resort, where authorities set up a command post and held a news conference earlier in the day.
But extra officers at the bottom of the hill, both on 18 and 330, checking vehicles coming down and coming up.
As authorities continue their search, residents are taking precautions.
Lock my doors.
Well, thank God they haven't taken our guns away because we can protect ourselves. I hope they catch the son of a gun.
We've been told that Bear Mountain and Snow Summit will reopen tomorrow. Also, Bear Mountain District schools will be open as well. Live in Big Bear, Liberty Chan, KTLA 5 News.
And breaking news now, there is a bomb threat apparently called into the federal building. Tim Lynn aboard Sky 5 above the scene. Tim, what do you know?
Right now, we know at about 8:30 this evening, a bomb threat was called in to the federal police here at the federal building here on Federal and Wilshire in West LA. You can see right here. They have the area completely shut down around it. Federal police are checking the building out. No device has been found so far. But right now, they're still searching that building to determine exactly if there's anything there or not. But Federal is shut down at Wilshire, so you cannot come southbound on Federal here away from UCLA until they complete their search. So that's the latest from over Westwood. Let me send it back to you in the studio.
It's going to be a long night for them, that is for sure, as they do that sweep for that bomb scare there in Westwood at the Federal building. Tim Lynn in Sky 5 for us. Thank you.
And Vera's here to talk more about the weather here down the mountain.
Down the mountain. And you know, as a matter of fact, speaking of the weather here down the mountain, we are already starting to see some light showers fall. I just got a message on my Twitter account saying heavier than drizzle, but not heavy showers, but definitely sprinkles through Tustin. So we are starting to see that rain move in. We have some severe weather here at home, but we also have severe weather along the East Coast. So let's go ahead and start off by looking at the Doppler satellite composite of the East Coast. So what you're seeing is, you see where it says Raleigh? That is a storm system developing out of the south. And then to the north, there's another one coming out of the Arctic. So those two systems are basically going to collide and crash over New York. And so from New York all the way up to Maine, we are going to see blizzard conditions. We're talking 1 to 2 feet of snow by tomorrow afternoon. The wind gusts there are going to be between 65 and 75 miles per hour. In addition to that, that whole stretch is going to see the potential for some coastal flooding. They've already canceled several air flights. So if you're going to be traveling back east, call your carrier and make sure that your flight is still good to go, because again, many cancellations have already been issued. Back here locally, we are waiting for a major cold system to move in. Not a lot of rain with it, but definitely cold and windy. In the meantime, LAX, 55 degrees, 57 in Fullerton, Ontario, 52 for you, and the same in Camarillo. Locally here, the satellite radar composite shows that system is moving out of the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to swoop into Southern California tonight into tomorrow. Timing-wise, this is from 6:30 tonight to 6 tomorrow, and you can see what the 24-hour loop is going to look like. This is what we're starting to see. Tustin already reporting some light showers, and here you have it on the microcast. We're already starting to see some light showers as well for parts of the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, a little bit in Riverside as well. We continue to see those showers develop overnight, and then tomorrow throughout the day, we're going to see periods of scattered showers, potentially some thunderstorms. With that, we could see some very strong winds and possibly some hail as well. So there's a lot going on with this storm. The snow levels are going to drop quite low. Wintry weather is expected. We're going to see the winds between 15 and 30 miles per hour sustained, gusts to about 50. Because of that, we are going to see low visibility. This is going to affect the 15 through the Cajon Pass, the 14 through the Soledad Pass, the I-5 Grapevine, the 138, and the 33 through Ventura. So if you're going to be traveling out that way, you've been warned. You are going to find hazardous conditions. The rain is going to move in tonight, and the temperatures are going to drop. Not as cold as the next couple of nights, but we are starting to see that drop. Most of us are going to be in the 40s. Along the coast, we're looking at low 50s, but most of us are going to be in the mid to upper 40s. Tomorrow, temperatures are going to continue to drop once again. Look at that. Everyone is going to be in the 50s. No 60s on the board. And of course, temperatures are going to be cooler as we head towards the Antelope Valley. We're looking at upper 40s there. If you're planning a surf day tomorrow, it's going to be sloppy and ugly. We do have that storm approaching. That's going to mess things up. But if you are going to be heading out Ventura, you're looking at 4 to 6 feet. For the LA coastal communities, we're looking at 2 to 4 feet. The South Bay, we'll see 4 to 6. And in Orange County, we're looking at 3 to 6 feet. And that swell is going to be a mix, and it's going to be sloppy. For the Inland Empire, your 7-day forecast is going to look like this. Not just showers, but also snow showers and thunderstorms along the mountain communities. 54 degrees. By Sunday, the winds will calm down, and then we'll start to see some more sunshine by Tuesday of next week as the ridge of high pressure begins to develop. For the LA coastal basin, periods of rain on and off, and don't forget the potential for some thunderstorms. Saturday by the afternoon will be mostly dry, but we are still going to see those breezes with us. And then take a look at these overnight lows for the San Fernando Valley. Patchy frost Friday night into Saturday and Saturday into Sunday, and those temperatures continue to drop Sunday into Monday and Monday into Tuesday. We're looking at low 30s, and very quickly along the coast, thunderstorms tomorrow with strong gusts up to 25 miles per hour, and finally sunny by the time Monday rolls around. All right, that's going to do it for me. Back to you guys.
Okay, Vera, thanks. We'll be right back.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing.
Celtics were too much.
Dude, man, this team is so temperamental. I mean,
they suck. Right now.
No, they just won 6.
And updating the manhunt for ex-cop and former naval officer Christopher Dorner, a heavy police presence remains in place tonight in the community of Big Bear.
Dorner's pickup truck was spotted around noon today on a forest road near the Bear Mountain Resort. The truck was set on fire, redirecting the search from San Diego to Riverside County to the mountains above San Bernardino. But other than that truck, there have been no confirmed sightings of Dorner himself. The fired LAPD officer has declared war on the LAPD, and that has prompted heightened security at many police facilities and protective details for officers who've had past contact with the suspect. And the murder of a Riverside police officer, allegedly at the hands of Dorner early this morning, suggests Dorner's war has expanded to include anyone with a badge. And for continuing coverage of this massive manhunt, you can visit our website anytime at KTLA.com and join us for the KTLA Morning News starting here at 4 a.m.
Very intense. In the meantime, we turn our attention now to Sports Final and talk to Darren Horton about, well, the Lakers didn't do so well tonight, and it was Steve Nash's birthday.
There's something about, exactly, and there was, I mean, he's 39, so that lets you know how urgent things need to be. But the Lakers, man, I don't know. This war of words resumes between Kobe and Dwight, and it ends with a beatdown in Boston, plus an amazing signing day story. Look at this, guys. A kid with one hand. He gets a Division I football scholarship. We will have his inspiring story coming up. And a big night on campus. They stormed the floor in Westwood. And there will be a new #1. Call it February Madness. And caught in the fast lane on a skateboard, the most unique speeding ticket you will ever see. Coming up next on the Ford Sports Final.